All right, we got 2 more comedians. This show is gross. This is a dirty show. It's never this dirty. Nate Bargatze's here next week. He's the opposite. That's, all right, gross. All right. Your next comedian, oh boy, I'm gonna let him start walking to the stage because he may need some help. He's mostly stoned all the time, but tonight he's on Team Drunk. Give it up for the return, Team Drunk, Morgan Wright.
What up, Team Drunk? Oh shit, there's a drink in my pocket. Fuck yeah. How y'all doing tonight? Woo, I am shit-faced. I quit McDonald's recently. I was working there. I was training as an AGM, and I quit because somebody got shot and killed in the parking lot like 3 days ago at the McDonald's I work at. I was like, fuck, man, people really want the McRib. I am a nanny in my alternate job. I know that seems alarming to everybody because my eyes are closed the entire time I'm telling the set. But no, I am a nanny by trade. I've always been the type of person in my family that raises the kids. I grew up in a country family, and I'm directly in the middle, which means that pretty much every single one of my cousins or family members would show up at the house and be like, I'm going to get fucked up. Here, watch the kids. Make sure they don't die. I see you laughing because you live that life. But not for real, like I'm an uncle, and recently I got told by my brother, because he has 5 kids, he's like, dude, I don't think I can let you watch my kids anymore. And it's because I had a breakdown watching an episode of Coco Melon. I'm serious, that shit's fucking crazy. I watched this episode where Coco Melon is trying to race, like, there's these cars, and they have balloons attached to them, and you have to blow up the balloon, and the balloon like makes the car go fast because the air's coming out of the back. And Coco Melon is a little kid, and he's bald, and he looks like he might have cancer. And so, like, I'm thinking, this kid's gonna lose. He doesn't have good lung capacity. And I look at his brother, who has, like, he's got a backwards ball cap. He looks like he plays t-ball. He looks like he's got his life together. You know, and he's got a sister who's older than him, and she looks like she's got her shit together. And they're, like, blowing up these giant balloons, and Coco Melon keeps losing. Or JJ, or whatever the fuck his stupid cancer name is. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, and he blows up this balloon and he loses. So then he pulls out a magic flute and he blows on this flute, and an elephant comes out of nowhere and blows his balloon up, and he wins. And I look at my little niece and I go, what the fuck are you watching? There's no magical elephant that will come blow your balloon up. Your life is pathetic. You can't even draw A's yet. You have to use a big pencil. Try harder. But yeah, I got told I gotta take a break. You know, they told me I need to be more like Miss Rachel and less like Blippi. Oh man, I think this, like, you know, all the Epstein stuff is pretty hilarious if you really think about it. I know that's hard to hear at first, but when you really think about Stephen Hawking being on that island, that really just makes me laugh, because I'm imagining him be like, yes, drink from this dog bowl, you fucking bitch. Solve this math problem, you midget fuck. It's so ridiculous. And I'm thinking there's got to be a better way we can catch these pedophiles. There's got to be something we can do, like something they can test in their DNA or something. Like, there's got to be some type of marker. And I imagine, like, you know, some guy goes into the doctor's office and he sits down and it's like, oh, Mr. Jared from Subway, please have a seat. How are you feeling? And he's like, well, I'm not fresh. And you're like, okay. Well, he's like, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to draw some blood. We're going to take a couple tests, and we'll be back in like a couple of minutes. You know, 20, 30 minutes go by, 40 minutes go by, almost an hour. He's sitting there, he's starting to worry. He's like, man, maybe do I have cancer? The doctors come in with 2 orderlies, and they have a straitjacket. He's like, whoa, what's going on? They're like, well, your blood pressure's good. Your white blood cell count is good. But your cholesterol levels are way too high. I said, we got to lock you up. I thought of that joke because like a couple of weeks ago I was watching a cholesterol commercial and I was like completely fucked up and I sat in my living room and I said, cholesterol, more like molesterol. And I dove over the coffee table and like fucked up my knee trying to like write it down as fast as I could. I was like, that's the t-shirt. I used to believe the Easter Bunny was real until I was 16. I know, you think it's crazy, but look, I'm telling you, when I was 10 years old, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went to go take a piss and I looked down the hallway of my house and it went straight, the hallway would go straight to the living room and I saw a giant 6-foot rabbit, pink, and he had a bow tie and he was putting eggs in a basket and I freaked out and I went back to my bed because I was like, oh shit, you know the secret lore of the Easter Bunny, if you see him, he kills you. And so like I get under my blanket and I go to sleep and I try not to think about it. And years later, I'm in therapy. I'm talking to my therapist about how I believe the Easter Bunny's real. I wish it was the Ether Bunny. And the therapist looks at me and he goes, you ever think that maybe that the Easter Bunny was real? And I'm like, no, I don't want to think about that. And he's like, why? Because then I have to accept the fact that my mom was having sex with my dad in an Easter Bunny costume. And I'm just not willing to live in that universe. My dad had a stroke not too long ago. Woo, strokes. And he forgot, like when he was in the hospital, he forgot the ending of Game of Thrones. And he kept asking me to download the last season again so he could watch it while he was in the hospital. And I said, Dad, when God throws you a pass, you take it. You don't want to see the end of that shit ever again. How many of you women out here love to suck dick? Yes. The reason I asked that is because recently my grandmother died. And you're wondering why did this comedian just ask whether or not I suck dick and his grandmother is dead? And it's because when she passed away, we found a lockbox hidden in her house. And we didn't know what was inside of it until we opened it. And what was inside of it was 15 multicolored dildos, whips, chains, a sash that said Miss Feliciana, you know, and a plaque that said Margaret Downs, greatest dick sucker of Louisiana, 1971 to 1984. Thank you. I'm glad you did. She was a great woman. No, like, that's real. I mean, I'm 100% serious. We found this stuff and my mom was like, oh my God, that's why she said I was sorry when she died. And I was like, what? I'm sorry? Why would she say that? That plaque doesn't say 4th place, dick sucker. We're number 1. Our family breeds champions. We swallow losers. Yeah. I'm serious. I was just like, why are you upset about this? This woman accomplished so many things that she could have just told us. And I would have been so proud of her. You know, 1984, I was born in 1985. That means up to the year of my birth, she was the 13-time state dick-sucking champion. And I asked around, and she could have won nationals, but she blew her knees out in state. I'm serious, like it's such a horrible injury to have. And when she died, it was so crazy because we had all these gentlemen. See, I found out my grandmother was a sister of the Eastern Star. And that's like the female version of like the Freemasons. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Freemason. So it's just like, oh my God, like my grandmother did all of these crazy ass things. She had this huge life and she was just servicing all of these men. Because they would show up to our house, like at the funeral, they'd come up to us and they were just like, hey, look, your grandmother, she supported the entire community. When she saw a job, she would go nose deep. You know, she just had she had the most supportive jaw you could ever imagine. They said all of these crazy ass things to us at her funeral and I didn't realize it until later. And I'm not even joking. This is a real truth. You could go to Baker, Louisiana, to the Baker's funeral home that's off of Groom Road, and you can find Margaret Downs, and it has a Bible verse. It says 2 Corinthians 9:7. Each one must give if they have decided of their heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. That is a Bible verse about sucking dick if I've ever read anything in my life. And she truly was the best. And I keep thinking to myself, fuck, man, like I want to be a champion too, but I can't be a champion dick sucker because my little sister's trying so hard at it. She's not here to defend herself, but I say that in hopes that like when she's at her house in Baton Rouge, she feels it. A fucking bitch. Being the youngest in the family gets you so many advantages. You could just wreck a car and your dad's like, thank you, baby. I appreciate that. Fucking bitch. But no, I keep thinking to myself, I was like, fuck, I want to be a champion too. And to do that, I have to like love myself. So I've been doing things like just trying to work out. And honestly, before the first of the year, I weighed myself and I was 367 pounds. Yeah, I know. I had pretty much given up on life. And now I'm at the point to where I'm at 315 pounds. Fuck yes. Yes. And it's because I watched this documentary about sugar. And it said sugar interacts with the same addiction centers of your brain as cocaine. And it was like, if you're addicted to sugar, then you know what it's like to be an addict. And that really spoke to me. And I was like, oh my fucking God. In the days right now that's going on with all these tariffs and shit like that, if it gets hard to get a fucking, a candy bar, I'm going to be doing back alley fucking hand jobs for a Snickers. If this really happens, then I really will be the greatest dick sucker that ever lived. And my grandmother's going to have to look down from heaven and be like, son, you did it. Thank you, everybody. My name is Morgan Wright. Team Drunk!
We're going to let him stay here an hour after y'all leave. That way everyone gets home safe. Morgan Wright, everybody. Team Drunk.